Hey, so today I'll be showing you how to make a hand spinner, fidget spinner, whatever you like to call it, without a bearing and with paper. So as you can see, I have pennies as weights. What I used as the bearing was a paper clip. I know I say toothpick a lot in the video, but just ignore that because I changed it to a paper clip later. So here's how it spins. Decently well, better than I would expect. Obviously, it's not going to spin as well as a normal bearing because bearings are specifically designed for that. But for a paper clip, I think it spins pretty well. And let's get right into the tutorial. Alright, so to start off, I'm just going to go over the materials. So you're going to need regular construction paper. There's multiple types of paper that'll work for this. There's A4, cardstock. This is poster paper, construction paper, like the colorful kind, that works too. Just not printer paper because printer paper is too thin. I'm going to be using hardened paper that I used last video, if you remember that. But if you don't know how to create hardened paper, here's a quick clip from last time. Alright, so to create hardened paper, I'm going to take this sheet of cardstock, I'm going to fold it in half. Try to get it as exact as possible. There we go. Just use something to really get that crease. There we go. Now you're gonna open it up. And you're gonna spread a line of glue down the left side. Make sure you get like a lot of glue because you want it to cover the entire page. So you have to get a good amount of glue on the side for it to do that. So I think that's enough glue. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the glue spreader and I'm just going to spread the glue all over the sheet. We might need some more glue just to get everything. Just make sure you get every corner and every place. Don't leave anywhere out because that could create like air pockets when it's hardening, and that can just make your paper work. So I'm gonna add a bit more glue just to be safe on this side. So I'm just gonna add like a quick line of glue over here, just so I can spread it. And get everywhere that I can. And again, if you don't think this is a good enough explanation, I have a video on the how to create hardened paper, so that should be good. And make sure you get the corners too, like I said before. And once you do that, you just wanna fold it back in half, and that is a hardened sheet of paper. Obviously not right now, you have to let it dry for a bit. And then it should be good. And then you want to take like a flat thing like this popsicle stick and just run over it. And alright, so now that you take two of those hardened sheets and just stack them on top of each other using the same glue spread method, and then you'll get a sheet like this. I'm going to be using this bottom layer since I've already used this top layer for the last video. So what we're going to be doing is we're just going to be, I'll show you the template after I create it, but we're going to stack it up on top. And instead of using a bearing like I usually do, a lot of people have been complaining about that, I'm going to be using a toothpick as the center part to spin around. So let's see how it works out, and I'll show you what the template is. Alright, so as you can see, this is what it looks like. It's very simple, just the outline of a normal duo spindle that you'll see. So I'm gonna cut out 2 to 3 of these and we'll see how it works from there. Alright, so as you can see, I roughly cut out the template and I'm just gonna paste it on top of here. You can use glue, but I don't like doing that, so I'm just gonna use some tape. Oops. You're gonna cut some off. Make sure you don't get the tape over the lines. And make sure the template is completely flat on the hardened paper so that it doesn't like come out incorrectly, if that makes any sense. So I'm just gonna get all 4 sides and then we should be good to cut it out. There we go. So as you can see, it's pasted on here. Alright, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my craft knife now, and I'm gonna initially just trace lightly, don't press too hard, otherwise you'll mess up. You're just gonna trace the outline of the don't go too fast either, because you want this to be as exact as possible, just because it is a spinner and it needs to be balanced in order to work well. So I'm gonna quickly just follow along the edges. Again, if you didn't tape it or glue it to the hardened paper correctly and left some space, you'll notice that when you're cutting it, the paper starts to like lift up. That's because there was some space left underneath it and it's not completely flat. And I suggest redoing it at that point. Mine's slightly incorrect, but not enough for me to need to do it again. So just be careful of that. And I'm just gonna make my way around the last time. There we go, we should be good. So I'm gonna take off the So as you can see, I did a decent job of cutting it out. Now you just have that initial design on there, and you can go ahead and cut that out. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do. Alright, so right here is everything that I'll be needing to create this. I cut out 2 circles. These 2 are the main parts with the holes cut in center, and then 4 pennies as weights. So basically what we're going to do first is you're going to glue these 2 parts together and just find out if it matches like that. See, it goes through. Here's the paper clip we'll be using. So what you want to do for this part, for these, you want to find the center and poke a hole into them, but don't go like all the way through to the other side like that. And then as you can see, it can fit the paper clip in there if you just push it in like that. And what you're gonna do is you want to put some super glue or some regular glue in there and make it glue one side of this paper clip onto this circle. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that and show you what it looks like. Alright, as you can see, this has been super glued onto this. Alright, and now what next we're gonna do is we're just gonna take these 2 sides and we're just gonna glue them together using some regular Elmer's glue. So I'm just gonna spread it across the side like this. Make sure you get all the edges. And then we just flip it over and glue it. Looks pretty good. Use the thumbtack to make sure that your points line up. There we go. Alright, so it looks pretty good. I'm gonna wait for that to dry, and then we'll move on to how to turn this into our bearing. Alright, so here I have a pair of wire cutters, and these are really crucial for this part. So you want to go like maybe a long way up, leave a lot of space, and just cut it. There you go. So I have a lot of room right there, as you can see. And you can test fit it and see how it works. As you can see, it spins decently well right now. Alright, and basically what we're going to be doing is we're going to cut it down to a size that we can actually fit this other part on it. So let's go ahead and try to do that. So I'm going to take the thumbtack and poke a hole in the center of this other circle. There we go. Make sure you get out to the other side. Again, if you want to take more time to like find the center point on the circle and go ahead and do it. But for me, just eyeballing it works completely fine. So I got the hole into here, and I just want to see if it fits on this side. So yeah, it fits through. Alright, so as you can see, I can cut it. I cut one out. I'm gonna go ahead and probably cut one or two more out of these, just to make sure I have the correct thickness. But I'm gonna take my original template and see how it has a midpoint. That's the exact middle of it. So I'm gonna put it back on here, and I'm gonna take a thumbtack and just poke a hole into it. Go right through the hardened paper, and then start to widen it with the what do you call it? The pin, and until I can start to fit a paper clip through it, and then start widening. Not a paper clip, a toothpick. And then once I have it wide enough in there, I'll be good, so I can start cutting out the other ones. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and I'll be right back. Alright, so the next thing we need is spacers. As you can see, if I just take this and I put it on here, and I try to spin it, it's not gonna spin for very long just because it's rubbing against this. See, if I put this other cap on, slide it on there, it's not gonna spin for very long just because the friction is so high. So what we need are these metal spacers that I made. I'm gonna put them in my hand. They're these tiny rings made out of paper clips. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna take this paper clip, and then I'm gonna take this plier, and I'm gonna just curl the end. Just grab the end and just curl it over, and then flatten it out. So as you can see, I have that little curl on the end. And then I'm gonna take my wire cutters. I'm just gonna cut it off really quick. Oh, there it is. And now I have another one of them. See, and now what I can do is I can just drop the ring on there, and then I'll just drop the spinner back on, and now you can now you can see that. Sorry, 1 second. There we go. Now that when I spin it, it spins for a lot longer just because of that spacer. Alright, so now I have two spacers now, so I can just drop them on top of each other. And I'll put the cap on. And it should spin pretty well, just like that. Obviously, it's not going to be as well as a bearing, just because bearings are specifically meant for that. Let me just attach everything, and I'll be right back. Alright, so before we attach everything and get it all finished, what we want to do is we want to take these pennies, and we want to use them as weights on the sides. So I'm going to glue two on each side, just using some super glue. Alright, so as you can see, I've attached the pennies and put everything together with the spacers in between. It spins not incredibly well, but it spins. It'll work for people who need one, but as you can see, there's still like a big rod sticking out this side. So all you want to do is just take a wire cutter, snip off how much you think you'll need, and then just glue the thing on. So I'm going to do that really quickly. So I'm just going to snip it about right there. Oh, that went flying. Alright, that's pretty much it. That's the spinner without a bearing. There we go. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment, and I will be back next time.